Hey, good morning everybody. So it is Sunday, April 16th, right at 10:40 in the morning. And in fact, it has been 2 full weeks since I've been out in the bees to inspect them, because last weekend's temperatures were a lot colder than I thought they would be, which prevented me from getting into the hives. But on a positive note, last weekend's temperatures should be the very last bit of winter that we see until later this year. So it is currently 75 degrees, 59% humidity. It feels pretty good. And as you can see, the hives are very active. So again, it's been 2 full weeks since I've gotten into them. So I am out here for a weekly, I would say weekly, but it's been 2 weeks. A weekly inspection. So mid-April, temperatures are nice. As y'all saw from the B-roll footage, we might have another swarm on our hands, which will be swarm number 7, I believe. And speaking of swarms, this is swarm number 6 here in the double deep 5-frame nuke setup. So that is something else that I want to do with them this week, is get them moved into some deep equipment that I haven't prepared yet, but I'll prepare here shortly. All right, that's pretty much it for the intro. All the hives are looking good. Minus number 1, they're still limping along, so we'll just see what this week looks like for hive number 1. All right, so that's enough for me, enough yapping. Let's get into the hives and see how they're doing in mid-April. All right, down here at hive number 1, just gonna have the camera roll. Should be pretty quick inspection, as it has been for the last few weeks. Again, they are just limping along. I've been treating them with oxalic acid, so I don't think it's a mite problem, but they've been limping along, meaning really slow to build up. But since it's been 2 weeks, I am curious to see what this colony has really started to do. And I don't know if this is an old frame or a new problem, but some signs of a wax moth issue. So let me set them aside, or that frame aside. Let's see what we got here. No larva. Okay. More brood than usual, so that's a good thing. Okay, I'll show you the bottom. Board in a second. A whole bunch of cappings, or yeah. Okay. This is different so far. Same frame of honey that they're just not really using at all. And let's see, very last frame. Oh yeah, check that out. It's not what you want to see. Wax moth. All right, yeah, let me show you the inside, what I'm talking about on the bottom board here. So yeah, check this out if you can't see it. Looks like we got some kind of problem going on. And I also don't see the queen. So I kind of wonder if they finally swarmed. Let me go back through them real quick, because she was marked with a yellow dot from last year. This was the only colony that overwintered, and I am not seeing her at all. She's been very easy to find over the last few inspections. So yeah, looks like they finally swarmed. That's interesting. So I'll probably just, yeah, I'll just combine I'll just combine this colony with another and call it a day. So mid-April, April 16th, and that's the last of hive number 1. All right, so I got a few things to do off camera, but yeah, I'm gonna call it. That's it for number 1. They may have swarmed into hive trap or swarm trap number 1, which is on the corner of the property. I have some activity on the other swarm traps, not much, but it is interesting for me to see if either one of those swarm traps actually caught a swarm, for starters, and 2, if they have a queen with a yellow dot. I'm going to assume that it's hive number 1. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to get into the rest of the hives and see which hive I can move these bees into. But yeah, I'm done messing with number 1 here for the season. All right, moving along down here at the colony in the 2nd position, soon to be the 1st position. I believe this is swarm number 5 that I very recently moved into the 10 frame equipment. So let's just take a quick first look together. I did give them some smoke that y'all saw. Yeah, they look like they are using the space nicely, maybe building some weird comb over here on the first few frames. But either way, let's take a look and I'll show you anything interesting as I come across it. This is probably in the swarm number 5 video, but they did draw out some really funky looking comb. This was in the swarm trap, I do remember that. But I wanted to show you this. Look at this beautiful brand new wax. So that shows me they're definitely on a food source, and our nectar flow is in full effect. And in fact, as I glance down into the box, check out that new wax, and they are capping it with some very dark amber looking nectar. So our nectar flow is in full effect. Side of this frame has some very nice looking pollen, but that's it for now. I just wanted to share that with you. Nice new wax, filling the cells with nectar, bringing in the pollen, everything you want to see for mid-April. All right, very next frame, found the queen. I'm just going to get her caged so I can move through the rest of the colony, knowing she's in a safe place. All right, there she is. Has a nice little red dot on her. So again, that just gives me the ability to move frame by frame without having to worry about where she's at or rolling her or damaging her or anything like that. So again, I'll show you anything interesting I come across, but I'm just going to check out the rest of the frames. I may have showed this frame off in the swarm number 5 video, but yeah, check that out. How was that for a brood frame? Swarm queens are very impressive. They do not mess around at all. And I am looking forward to this colony blowing up. And in fact, I might actually put a honey super on them this week and give them some space, since they're bringing in some nice nectar and building new wax. All right, that does it for this hive. Let's get the queen released. Let them get back to business. All right, moving right along. This is currently the colony that is in the 3rd position. I don't necessarily remember the backstory with this one. There's a good chance it was a swarm that I captured, or one of Bill's colonies. Nope, that's not right. I think this was one of the swarms, maybe swarm number 4, or yeah, something like that, not sure. But anyway, I do remember about 2 weeks ago, I added the queen excluder and I gave them a super that I believe had some drawn comb. They have some nice activity, so let's get into the top box. I already gave them some smoke. There are a ton of bees up in the top box, and in fact, this may have been a colony that had a bunch of brood in the top box that I wanted to hatch. and then they could backfill those cells with nectar. But it's exactly what I'm talking about. A whole bunch of bees up here. Like usual, I'll show you anything interesting. Just gonna start pulling some frames, see if the brood's emerged and if they've actually started to backfill those cells with nectar. And exactly what I wanted to see. So I'm about halfway through the top box. If this comes up on camera at all, they are doing a very nice job filling the cells with nectar. So perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping they would have accomplished in the last 2 weeks. Need to start making sure the queen isn't on the queen excluder. Yeah, first look at the bottom box. Nice amount of bees. That's exactly what you want to see. Again, weekly inspection, so I'm just going to go frame by frame and show you anything that is worth showing. Hopefully this comes up on camera if I can get some of the bees out of the way. That is what you want to see. These bees are working. This queen is working. That brood, nice patch of larvae. This population should drastically increase over the next 2 weeks. And there she is right there. Look how big she is. Found her on the 7th frame. Look at that brood pattern. So again, I'm just gonna cage her so I know she's safe. Finish my inspection and call it a day. And she is a big one. All right, 3 more frames, then I'll wrap things up. All right, let's get her released, get the queen excluder put back in position. And that's it for this one. There she goes. All right. Alright, down here at the hive in the 4th position, I do remember this is one of the hives that Bill gave me. This is also the largest hive that I currently have with a deep and 2 mediums. I see I have not added a queen excluder, so that also reminds me or brings to mind whether or not I've found the queen. So I'm just going to go through the top boxes. See if I can find the queen, see if they are ready for a queen excluder, and just take a look, see how they're doing. I don't remember if they have a queen or not, or if I found her, so a few things to do with this one. Alright, like usual, I do remember not too much going on in the top box. I mean, they are drawing wax, filling some cells with nectar. This box does have some decent weight to it as well, but aside from that, nothing really significant to talk about. No brood or anything. I'm curious to see if they have brood in the bottom medium box, and then again, trying to make a decision whether or not to add a queen excluder, or I just might add one anyway, try to isolate her, and then next weekend, easy way to kind of figure out where your queen's at is whatever box has eggs in it. All right, so I am on the 4th frame in the bottom box, and more out of curiosity because of how dark the comb is, I wanted to see if there was any evidence that they are queen right. And in fact, over on the right side of the frame there, practically every cell has an egg. So at least I know they're queen right, and the queen's been in this box. I still want to find her because I'm pretty confident I have not marked this queen. So that's essentially what I'm looking for now. And I still have another box to go, so kind of TBD at this point. Speaking of interesting things, it didn't take long. This is the very next frame, and that looks like a queen cell, a swarm cell that has been uncapped naturally, not chewed out, not killed. So maybe this colony swarmed at one point. There's a good chance that's also one of the swarms that I captured. So that also kind of pushes me in the direction that I might be looking for an unmarked queen. Listen to this hive. Alright, so I'm starting to think the queen might be in the bottom box, given with how they currently sound, but give me a few minutes and maybe I'll have an answer for you. I was finishing with the last few frames, which you can see are completely blank. I noticed some bees gathering at the very bottom of the box, and I'm about to fish her out, but that looks like a queen. So that's not anything I would consider to be good. I wonder what happened to her. Yeah, sure enough, check that out. That looks like a smaller queen, maybe one of the queens that hatched. Not marked at all, so, well, that stinks. Not sure what happened, but I'll have to keep an eye on them over the next week or two. They have eggs. They should be able to raise another queen, or I don't know, maybe that was one of the queens that maybe hatched, was killed later. It's hard to say, but anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on them and figure out what happened. It stinks. All right, down here at swarm number 6, about to get them transferred into some 10 frame equipment. They look like they are very ready for the change. So if my memory serves me right, I just moved them into this box, I believe during the week, because we've had some somewhat unusual late winter weather roll through that prevented me from getting out here last weekend. So I had to do some stuff during the week. I don't remember necessarily what day it was, but this was a pretty decent sized swarm that moved into one of the traps. And again, what I've been doing this year is I'll leave them in a trap for a few days so the queen can get situated, start laying some brood, and then I will move the swarm from the trap into this configuration, which is a double 5 frame deep. Leave them in here for about a week, and then transfer them into some 10 frame equipment. And I can already see the outer frames they're not really doing much with, which is fine, but I'm just going to get them transferred over and show you anything I come across. This is the very center frame, and it is packed with bees. This frame actually has some really nice weight to it, and it looks like they are filling a ton of cells with nectar. A lot of bees on this frame too, which basically just looks like they're working it to draw out some wax. And the very last frame in the top box, not really much going on, so I'll put that on the outside. But yeah, check this out. Get into the bottom box here in a second, but they look like they are packed with bees. do a quick first look of the bottom box. Yeah, they're definitely ready to get moved over into a 10 frame. I'm really hoping to find some nice brood frames. Ton of bees, ton of nectar. They've been in here for maybe, it may be close to a week since I've caught them. Also, just going off memory. That's a nice food frame. Let's see what the next one looks like. A ton of nectar as well. Okay, kind of interesting. I was starting to grow very concerned that I had a queenless swarm, which, you know, that's just something that doesn't make much sense. But if you didn't get a glimpse of her, I'm gonna try to find her again, because as soon as I took my eye off the frame, there she is, right there. All right, let me get her caged. Regular procedures. Set her aside, get her marked up. Yeah, nice looking queen. All right. Yeah, so I was starting to get concerned because I don't see much brood, capped brood, but let me take a look. Yeah, I don't see any eggs either, so that's kind of interesting. Either way, let me get the last few frames moved over and then get her marked, released, and call it a day for swarm number 6. Yeah, no capped brood just yet, but things to come, I hope. Alright, try to get swarm number 6's queen transferred into the marking tool. Okay, almost like I know what I'm doing. Glad I primed the marker, because there was a whole bunch of paint that ran out. That would have not been good. Experienced that before, and it's just devastating when you have a lot of paint run out on a queen and pretty much leads to her death. Alright, let's see. That's probably good enough. Let her dry off, and then get her transferred. Alright, she should be good to be released. There she goes. There she is. Alright, swarm number 6. Queen right with a marked queen. Right down here at the hive in the 6th position. If my memory serves me right, this was one of Bill's that he gave me to boost my numbers this year. I also, it looks like I added a queen excluder about 2 weeks ago. And given the amount of bees in the top box, I'm very curious to see how the top box is looking. I believe this was the all mediums Bill gave me that I condensed to one medium, added a deep, reversed the boxes earlier this month. That sounds very familiar. And then, oh yeah, and then put a queen excluder on them to let the rest of the brood in the top box hatch out. and then backfill with nectar. So let's see how this top box is looking real quick. Looks like we got some drones trapped up in here, which is fine. They'll just have some free lunch because they got access to all the food. But yeah, it looks like my plan's working. Because that frame has a lot of nice nectar on it. Looks like we have some remaining brood that has not hatched just yet. And that's completely fine. A whole bunch of drone brood, so they're going to be eaten for free for a while. Unless I figure out a way to get rid of them. Yeah, some brood that still has to hatch on that side. This plastic frame, I do remember this was slap full with brood. So the fact that it has less brood this time with a little patch remaining to hatch, and it looks like some of the cells that are open are being filled with nectar. So I guess my plan is working. All right, let me just go through the rest of the frames. Again, I'll share anything interesting with y'all, and then we'll get into the bottom box. All right, top box is looking nice. Again, a whole bunch of drones stuck up in there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. They'll just be hanging out and eating for free, and maybe they'll figure out how to get out via the inner cover exit. But yeah, look at this bottom box. They look like they have a decent amount of bees in here, which is a good thing. We knock all these bees down, get into the bottom box, just making sure they're still queen right. How's that for a first frame? Most outer frame, and she is doing some work. Let's see what the next one looks like real quick. One of the many advantages of having marked queens, as soon as I went to pull this frame, I was very easy to find her. She's probably not interested in being caged, but it allows me to move a little quickly through the rest of the frames and not having to worry about squishing her or damaging her or killing her. Yeah, this queen is she's not messing around. This population will shoot up real quick in the next week or two. The bees that have been in the box for the last few weeks doing chores will become the foraging force. Yeah, look at this. And I have no doubt that top box will get filled probably by the end of May, if I had to guess. Alright, I'm just going to go through the rest of the frames. I really hope I don't find any swarm cells or supersedral cells. I don't see why I would, but I've also been surprised in the past. So yeah, this colony's looking pretty nice. Time to release her and get them put back together. There she goes. And she is in the bottom box where she needs to be. All right, down here at the very last hive for the week, which is the hive in the 7th position, I am actually not going to get into the very last hive, which is hive number 8, because I was just in them on Friday. I did a class for the Milestone Preschool here in Jacksonville and taught the kiddos about bees, and I had an observation hive. So I know they're queen right. That observation hive needs 6 of the 10 frames, and there's a few frames that really don't have anything going on, so I know they're looking okay. So let me give number 7 some smoke. I also have hive number 1 over here. Damn, smoking myself. Because there's really nothing going on in number 1, but they do have a few frames that I'm assuming, without looking just yet, that I can probably move into number 7 if any of the outer frames in the medium box are just, you know, just blank frames. Maybe they can use a boost. And I have a queen excluder on this as well, so definitely curious to see what they've been doing in the top box. But yeah, that's pretty much how I'm going to wrap up the week. Just condense number 1 into number 7, conduct an inspection on number 7, and call it a day. And just like that, my plans have changed, because number 7 has shallows, one of the very few hives that have a shallow box, and hive number 1 is a medium. So now what I think I will do is basically just shake the bees from number 1 in to number 7, since I can't transfer the frames, and just taking a quick look. They probably could have used the boost, but the bees are in the top box making some use or working the frames, but it doesn't look like they're really doing a whole lot. So I'm just going to transition into the bottom box, quick inspection, and that'll be it. All right, just a quick first look at the bottom box. Nice healthy looking amount of bees, but let's get into them, of course, and see what we can find. If my memory serves me right, I think this was the colony. It's either this one or the last one, and I'm starting to get stuff kind of mixed up as the number of hives grow. But it was either this one or the last one that I thought was queenless, and I was about to dump them, but at the very last minute found a queen and got her marked. So I guess the moral of that story is having patience, or having more patience than you want to have sometimes, is not necessarily a bad thing. They're definitely packing away the nectar and tapping it into honey, and that was one of the signs that I thought they were queenless and starting to become honey bound. But anyway, let me finish up, and hopefully they still have a queen that we can find. And just like that, not that I found the queen, but every cell on this side of the frame and this side of the frame has eggs. So they were queen right, and it looks like she's doing a fantastic job. And here we go. Okay, now we have some cap brood. So it looks like this queen is favoring, and there she is right there. It looks like this queen is favoring the left side of the box for now, but they definitely have enough room to expand to the right side of the box. And just like that, I took my eye off the frame for a second to grab the queen clip, and I'm thinking, oh, there she is. I was thinking she crawled down into the box, but no, she's right here. Alright, same thing, just cage her, isolate her, just so I don't damage her. Go through the rest of the frames and get them boxed up and put back together. Just gonna shake number 1 into number 7 real quick. Yeah, I try to give number 1 as much time as possible, and they just not cutting it. And not to mention, no signs of, no signs that they are queen right, so it's kind of strange. I'll try to salvage this brood by finding another colony that has medium, just so it doesn't really go to waste. But yeah, it looks like, I don't know. I mean, the only thing that really could have happened to the queen is they swarmed, and And I do have, like I said in the intro, I do have very, very light activity on one of my swarm traps. So I'm just curious if they have a marked queen. Alright, let's get number 7's queen released. Get them boxed up. There she goes. And down she goes. Alright, back into the bottom box. Alright, slight change of plans. I'm down here at the very last colony, number 8. And I decided, because the rest of the colonies that have mediums on actually look really nice, and I couldn't really find a colony that needed a medium, so I'm down here at number 8. I'm gonna add a medium to them, and the center 5 frames are the frames from hive number 1. So there you go. I ended up getting into number 8 anyway, but just like that, to give them some space, queen excluder, and hopefully they make use of it. So hey, thanks for watching everybody. Cole's Farm, April 16th, a beautiful Sunday here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. As y'all see or saw, the bees are very active and looking pretty darn good, and I am slowly but surely getting them all transferred into 10 frame deep equipment. A few things to keep an eye on, mainly the largest, I believe it was that one, the largest looks like the queen was killed, whether that was me or the bees, kind of unsure, but yeah, they have enough frames of eggs to where they can make another queen now that they have a reason to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just going to check swarm trap number 1 on the corner of the property maybe later today. Maybe that was hive number 1 that was in the single medium 5 frame box, because they did not have a queen this week and they did 2 weeks ago. So a few things to keep an eye on, but yeah, that's it for me. Got some stuff to do with the family, but yeah, thanks for watching everybody. See y'all next time.